Weapons and armor, weapons and armor. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another Grounded guide. Now, Grounded is a big and scary place, but it doesn't have to be. There are options upon options of weapons and armor, and I'm not going to be going over every single thing because that would take too long and that would be quite boring. No one wants to watch that. So you're probably asking yourself, how do you even get started? Don't worry, this guide will help. With almost 1,000 hours put into this game, I am going to be showing you guys what I would recommend going throughout the entire game. That's enough of the intro, let's go ahead and get started. Oh, and if you guys end up finding this helpful, you end up enjoying this video, please leave it a like, it really helps out a lot. And if you want to see more guides such as this, and you don't want to miss out on any of them, such as a major boss guide that will be coming out with shortly, go ahead and subscribe, or at least consider subscribing. Alright, let's go. Starting out is not easy, and if you're new to Grounded, it can be frustrating. Don't worry, I'm here to help. Now, you might be in a hurry to grab that first piece of armor, but I don't recommend that you do. Instead, I'm going to show you how I got my best start in Grounded. Now, the first thing you want to do is you're going to want to find a nice little thistle. I'll show you what they look like. You're going to want to come up to this plant right here with the purple flower on top. You want to grab as many thistles as you possibly can. Mostly because you're gonna need it. The first weapon that I recommend that you guys getting will be the spiky sprig. Now the spiky sprig is gonna require 3 sprigs, 5 thistle needles, and 2 crude rope. This is extremely easy for you to make, and you don't need a workbench to make it. Here is why I want you guys to use this. Now if we take a look at here, this weapon is gonna give you the most damage until you get to the red ant club, which we'll get there in a minute. It will give you almost 2 bars of damage, 2.5 bars of stun, and yes, it is slow, but if you look here, it has an effect called bleed. It deals 10 damage every second for 10 seconds. So if you're whacking away at something, you're going to deal quite a bit of damage. So if I hit this ladybug right here, just watch as her health bar depletes. You see that? And then if I continuously whack away at it, it already took down 2 health bars in one combo. Now I should also say this, but the amount of damage that you deal will depend on which difficulty level that you do play. So keep that in mind. Overall, the spiky sprig is going to deal the most damage until you can get to the red ant club. Now the first armor that I recommend that you guys set your sights on is going to be the red ant armor. There's a reason, let me show you. Now once you get the full red ant armor, you're going to want this to begin with anyways, because it is really good for building. Getting the red ant armor will actually give you access to the red ant hill that's located over here by the first field station. Now these guys are going to completely ignore you and not aggro onto you, as they'll see you as one of their own. The reason why I want you guys to go ahead and grab that red ant armor to begin with, what in the world is happening? Why is there a stink bug in there? Yo, you can't make this up, guys. I promise you, this is not staged. That's never happened, ever. Alright, I turned off my player damage. Let's just get up on this. Look at this. I have never seen this. Has anybody seen this before? This is not part of the guide, but I just really want to see this through. The stink bug spawned right in the middle of this. Just this little ant is left. Oh, the stink bug. Is there anywhere else? Anywhere else? Did he kill the entire colony? No way. Anyways, as I was saying, that took a lot longer than it should have. You're gonna want to go into the red ant hill, and you're gonna hug the right side. You're gonna keep going until you hit this ledge right here. You're gonna jump onto this ledge, and you're gonna grab this piece of armor. This is gonna be the rotten bee armor that you're gonna grab. So you can grab that, again, hug the right side, follow the tunnels. I fell down the hole. That was unfortunate. Grab the rotten bee shoulder pads after you fall down the hole. And then once you make your way to the room with the hole, you're gonna wanna come up here and you're gonna see the rotten bee shin guards. Now the reason why I want you guys to go ahead and grab this armor is because of this. Now this armor is going to give you almost 5 bars of defense. Now that's going to be a lot better than the acorn armor, which is why I want you to grab it. Once you grab your rotten bee armor, you'll be good to go and take on much tougher enemies. Once you're decked out with the rotten bee armor and the spiky sprig, you'll be able to take care of those ants no problem, which will lead us to the next weapon I want you guys to go ahead and get. The red ant club will carry you throughout most of the game. It is a very great weapon that deals a lot of damage and stun. The reason why I want you guys to use the red ant club and that will carry you throughout most of the game is because there's not a creature alive that is resistant to it. Now the Hedge Lab. The Hedge Lab, I'm going to show you the bare minimum to what I recommend. For the bare minimum, you can do the acorn armor and the spiky sprig. That's no problem. You can easily beat the Hedge Lab using this armor and this weapon alone. What I do recommend is, if you follow this guide, definitely use the rotten bee armor and the red ant club. Now wolf spiders, you're eventually going to have to go against them, so you want to be able to use the rotten bee armor and the red ant club. You can take it down with the spiky sprig, but I definitely recommend that you guys at least use the rotten bee armor and the red ant club, just because you'll be able to deal a lot more damage, and it can stun a lot more often. Now, if you guys are having problems defeating wolf spiders, I do have a parry guide that will show its attack patterns. You can check them out on my tutorial list that I will link down below. And just like that, it's done. Now the Pawn Lab. The Pawn Lab is going to be the next lab that I recommend that you guys going after, the Hedge Lab. Now, what I'm wearing right here, you can definitely use. You're going to need the fin flops, you're going to need the gill tube to get down here to begin with. But once you get down here, you're going to need something that requires a little more oxygen. That is where the bubble helmet you'll be able to craft while you're down here if you're unprepared like I am. And you'll be able to find the sunken bones no problem because they're located right below the Pawn Lab. You'll need a shovel to do that. Now the weapons and armor that I recommend that you guys end up going for is you're going to want to keep that rotten bee armor if you do have it. Now if you don't have it and you decided you don't want to get it, then you're going to want to have at least your acorn armor. You can do this with the acorn armor. It's a little bit difficult, but definitely have the rotten bee armor or tier 2 armor at that. Now once you finish unlocking all of the dials, you're definitely going to want to switch over to your heavy hitting armor and weapons. So it's going to be your red ant club and your rotten bee armor. What I forgot to mention is on top of your diving gear, you're going to want at least the bone dagger or what I recommend, the spider fang dagger. Now the reason why you want the daggers is because you're going to come across creatures underneath the water that will be weak against slashing. So there are only 2 different types of weapons you can use underwater. There'll be daggers and spears. And here's why I want you guys to go with the heaviest hitting armor and weapon combo. You're going to come across these robots called Tasties and Archers, but I don't see any Archers here. These guys are weak against busting, so you want to go with your heavy hitters. Now, once you finish the Pawn Lab, all you got to do is head over to the Haze Lab, and that's where we're going next. There is a secret weapon that you guys can claim early in the game. Now, I'm going to show you guys where it's located at. It's right there. It's right there. This little hole in the retaining wall by the milk carton. You guys can be able to grab this weapon early on. So we're going to go ahead and grab it. What you guys are going to need is a bomb to get up here. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a bomb. Anyways, in here, you're going to come over to this red trash bin. You're going to grab what's called the pinch whacker. Now, the pinch whacker is really good for you to have early in the game because it's going to be your first tier 3 weapon. You know, be very careful when using this weapon quite often, because if you use this weapon too often early in the game, you're gonna see right here, this is your deterioration bar. The more you use it, the faster it's gonna deteriorate, which means it'll break eventually. And the only way that you can repair this weapon is with repair glue, which you won't get until much later in the game. So just keep that in mind. I would save this for boss battles and wolf spiders if you're having problems with them. One thing I did not mention about the Rotten Bee armor is that it is great for people who like to play ranged weapons. Now, if you like using ranged weapons, you're gonna look right here. It's gonna say bow stun, meaning that there's a chance for you to stun a creature when you're using your bow. Here we go, the Haze Lab. Welcome to the Haze Lab, everybody. For the Haze Lab, we're gonna have some options. You can use the Rotten Bee armor. That is totally up to you. I would say that is the minimum requirement. However, what I do end up recommending is that you guys use regular tier 2 armor. The reason why I say it is if you look here, regular tier 2 armor will give you a lot more defense compared to the Rotten Bee armor, which only gives you this much. There is a dramatic difference. So you have options upon options, of course. So you can either use the Ladybug armor, which you see here, or you can use the Spider armor. Now, in my opinion, the Spider armor is easier to acquire because all you have to do is go against Orb Weavers to get the Silk Rope, and those can be pretty easy to kill early in the game, so it's totally up to you. The Spider armor and the Ladybug armor will give you the same amount of defense as they are regular tier 2 armor. The only difference is depending on the buffs that you want to receive. So I already recommended some armor, whether it was minimum or what I would use. Let's go over to weapons. So for weapons, the infected Ladybug is weak against busting and fresh. We're not gonna worry so much about fresh. Now for the bare minimum, you can use the insect hammer and you can just whack away at it. Or what I recommend that you end up using, if you have it, use the pinch whacker. The pinchwhacker is a very overpowered weapon, and you can get through this fight relatively easily. And just like that, she's done. Again, I do recommend that you guys save the pinchwhacker for when it really counts. Now that we're finished with the Haze Lab, let's go ahead and jump over to the Black Ant Lab. Now, if you guys don't end up having the pinchwhacker, because you couldn't find it or whatever reason there is, you can use the Red Ant Club. That's something I forgot to mention. So either the insect hammer is the bare minimum or the Red Ant Club. Welcome to the Black Ant Hill. Now over here, you're gonna find the Black Ant Lab within this anthill. This is where things get serious. At this point, you should have level 5 tier 2 armor, which is the bare minimum requirement that I am going to recommend for the Black Ant Lab. Now what I do end up recommending for you guys, and what I've used in the past, is the tier 3 Antlion armor. In my opinion, and in my experience, the Antlion armor is actually the easiest tier 3 armor for you to get. For the bare minimum requirement, I recommend that you have the level 5 Ladybug armor, and the Red Ant Club should also be level 5 as well. What I recommend that you guys use, the Antlion armor, it doesn't matter if it's really leveled up, the amount of defense that this has is a ridiculous amount. You don't have to worry about leveling up the tier 3 armor if you use it for the Black Ant Lab. For the weapon of choice will be the pinchwhacker. In my experience, I've used level 5 Red Ant Club and it's gotten through no problem. But if I was to recommend any weapon, I would definitely recommend the pinchwhacker. So about 4 combos in, I already have his health already down to about 75%. The pinchwhacker will deal quite a bit of damage and it will hit the fastest. You can continuously whack away at the assistant manager until eventually it is pretty much done. So we got about 2 more bars and he's almost done. And just like that, there you go. Now to the fun part. The upper yard. Now the upper yard, you're going to want tier 3 armor if you already don't have it at this point. I'm gonna make this as simple as possible. There are so many different types of tier 3 armor, it is ridiculous. I mean, just look at this. Look at that, tier 3. All of this is tier 3. There are so many options for tier 3 armor, it really is. It really is ridiculous. And this is gonna come down to your playstyle. For my ranged people out there, I have not forgotten about you. When you hit tier 3, you are going to want to use the Moth Armor. Now, the Moth Armor is very good for using ranged attacks. What it does is it does ranged cut, meaning for every time that you attack something with your ranged weapon Whether it's with your new and sexy Black Ox crossbow, your very proud Bard's bow, or if you want to get a little magical with it, you can use your stabs. It does not matter which ranged weapon you use, you will be able to cause the bleed effects. And that's exactly what this moth armor does. It takes those ranged weapons and it causes bleed effects. That's what's amazing about this armor. You are gonna have so many options in order to actually use these armor and weapons. And there are so many for me to cover. However, what I'm gonna actually say is simple as this. Get jiggy with it. Like, mix it up. Like, do not be afraid to mix things up. My favorite build is a poison build, and I have two favorite builds. It's a poison build and a corrosion build. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen this. This is my favorite build. This is the Mask of the Mother Demon, the Assassin's Chestplate, the Widow Leggings, all of that equipped with the Widow Dagger. This is my go-to build. This is what I use to pretty much take down anything and everything, except for the IBM. For the IBM, I use the Fire Ant Helmet, the Assassin's Chestplate, the Fire Shin Guards, or whatever they're called, and the Toenail Scimitar. This is basically what helped me get through that boss battle, and it is quite a build to have. The reason why I want you guys to mix it up when you get up to the upper yard and you're exploring and you're defeating all these different types of creatures, the Fire Ant armor has corrosion. The Mask of the Mother Demon or the Brood Mother armor has poison coating. The Widow armor has poison damage. The Wasp armor has charged shot. The Assassin armor, which is in my opinion the best armor to have, has cutmen, meaning it will bleed. There are so many options in this game. Once you get up to the upper yard and you're hunting down for that tier 3 armor, sure, you can start off with the roly-poly armor, no problem. That will get you through the game and you can call it there. But if you want to enjoy this game, I highly recommend that you seek out. There are plenty of armor and weapons out there that it can fit your playstyle. So, you know, do a little bit of everything, mix it up, don't be stagnant. And that is all that I have to say about this video. If you guys end up enjoying this video, you found it helpful, please leave it a like. Again, it helps out a lot. If you guys want to share some of your favorite builds, what would you recommend to someone who's new and getting started? Leave a comment down below. And if you don't want to miss any more content or guides such as this, I do have a major boss guide coming out very soon. If you don't want to miss that, go ahead and subscribe. Or, again, consider subscribing. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!